What's up, gang? I'm back here again with another little recipe for you. Today, I've got the Edioven, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making everybody's kind of favorite, some brownies. So I'm going to talk a little bit how we do that with the Edioven. It's a little different than the traditional methods, but this one's a fan favorite. So let me talk a little bit what I have here. So right here is some, the recipe for the brownies called for 2/3 cup of vegetable oil. Ooh, who wants that? So I've used some organic cold pressed coconut oil. And then on top I have some 1 teaspoon of organic sunflower lecithin. So 2/3 cup of coconut oil is what the brownie recipe called for. The lecithin is we're adding because we're gonna add our own oil. So what we're gonna do now is put everything into here, put it in the Edioven, and we're gonna heat it up and mix it up and get ready to make our brownies. So I'm gonna just start. I'm gonna use this handy little spatula. Just to note that the new Edioven units is the second half of 2025 and later are all shipping with this spatula. The spatula has replaced the stir rod, the glass stir rod you see there that we'll be using a little bit later on here. So I'm just putting everything into the silicone here. You definitely want this inside the silicone sleeve because otherwise it'd make a mess and you don't want any liquids in this metal. So anytime you get anything runny, use the sleeve. So now I have the ingredients in there. Now I'm going to add my oil. One trick about the oil is this has been frozen. So why did I put it in the freezer? Because it makes it a lot easier to get out. Instead of being a runny mess, you just kind of freeze it, pop it in there. Okay. Clean it. All right, so now you can see here we have a nice cup full of goodness. And I'm gonna put that into the Edioven, slide her down in there, put on the silicone lid, and then the top locking lid. You can adjust the time and temperature on this, obviously. I'm gonna set this to the temp to probably 160, and we'll do that for about an hour, 30 minutes. That should be enough to liquefy all our ingredients, and because we just really want to get them warm and stirred up, and then we're gonna mix them into the brownie batter for our brownies. So I adjusted the time, temp, and then I just hit the play button. Boom. We'll come back in 30 minutes for a stir. Okay, we're at the end of the cycle there. You heard the beeps. And so we're gonna take it off, stir it up, and continue to make our brownies. Just want to talk a little bit more about the ratios that I did to start this off. So just to be clear, I used a boxed, just a basic brownie mix and followed their recipe. Their recipe called for 2/3 cup of oil, 2 eggs, and 3 tablespoons of water. And so the only thing we're adding to the recipe is our flavor oil and 1 teaspoon of lecithin. So I did add, in this particular one, I added 10 grams of flavor oil. And the reason we want the lecithin in there is because you want it to keep the flavor throughout all the brownies. You don't want a hot brownie and a not hot brownie. The lecithin will keep it emulsified and mixed throughout. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking the stir rod and I'm stirring it up there because the oil, you can see it's kind of clumped on the bottom. And you can stir it up a little bit in here with this, but probably the best way is we're just gonna put it right into the mixing bowl, and we'll mix it up with the beaters. And we're gonna do that first before adding the other dry ingredients. So let's go ahead and get that set up. So this is, I need to be careful, that's warm. I'm gonna set this over here. We're gonna plug in our mixing beaters here. Okay, we wanna put this, my makeshift okay. And just take it right out of there. Take the whole sleeve right out. I'm just gonna drop it in here. Use a little spatula here, yeah, get this down there. That's the flavor oil. Get that down in there. And the important, they just get it into the thing. We'll blend it all up here with electric power. So I'm going to go ahead and put the wet ingredients in as well. We'll do all the water, the eggs, everything. We'll blend them here, and then we'll mix in the mix in the dry. Oh, that helps. Okay, so we've mixed up all the wet ingredients. Now we're just gonna add the dry ingredients. This is just a bag of the good old brownie mix, and we'll give it a little more blending. And just mix everything up nicely. Okay, so we're done mixing it up. Full disclosure, both times I did the mix, it was about 2 minutes. Didn't want to film that. So we've got it all mixed up. Now the next thing is just put it in our brownie pan, put her in the oven. I did pre-grease the brownie pan with some of the same coconut oil that we used in the recipe. Just regular cold pressed coconut oil. You can use whatever oil you really want, especially for this, because the oil isn't doing the extracting of the plant oils. The oil that we're adding to the recipe is for the baking part of it. So whatever the recipe calls for is fine. Again, I just used the coconut oil for health reasons. Feel free to use whatever the recipe calls for, or whatever you want. So now we're gonna bake them up and be ready to go. I'll give you a shot of them when they're done. All right, and there we have it, our fresh out of the oven brownies. Again, the only thing we did additional to this recipe, this is a standard box recipe. We added 10 grams of flavor oil and 1 teaspoon of lecithin. That's it. And now we can enjoy what we like to call Aussie brownies. If you have any questions or anything, sound off below. Happy to answer them. Thanks.